Right, United fans, sit down, because we've got three massive stories breaking within hours of each other, and if you only watch one TraffordWire video this week, make it this one. We've got a £45 million deal that's reportedly agreed. We've got PSG personally inviting United to hijack Liverpool's move for a wonder-kid winger, and we've got Chelsea now joining United in a straight fight for one of the most exciting attackers in world football. Buckle up, let's get into it. Let's start with the one that's got the biggest financial number attached, Manu Kone. According to Rio Ferdinand on his own YouTube channel, Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Manchester United have agreed a £45 million deal to sign ex-Roma midfielder Manu Kone. Now, I want to be upfront with you, Romano hadn't posted this himself on his socials at time of recording. This is Ferdinand relaying it. But Ferdinand's information has been accurate before, and multiple outlets are now circling the same figure. Here's the context that makes this deal make total sense. Kone has been one of the standout midfielders at this summer's World Cup, and with France eliminated in the semi-finals, negotiations were always expected to accelerate as he returns to club business. United see him as the long-term replacement for Casemiro, who left Old Trafford after his contract expired before moving on to Inter Miami. And this isn't happening in isolation. United have been ruthless in the market already this summer. They've already landed Andre Santos and Yuri Tielemans, plus goalkeeper Karl Darlow on a free from Leeds. And Kone was always described as the third midfield piece, the destroyer if you like, sitting behind that engine room. There's also a fascinating subplot here. United had actually been closing in on Atalanta's Ederson, personal terms and a fee were agreed, before they dramatically pulled out after requesting extra medical tests, which stunned people in Italy. That collapse is what turned the club's full attention onto Kone instead. Roma, for what it's worth, aren't just going to roll over. Reports suggest the Serie A club want in excess of £47 million as their real asking price, and Chelsea are also credited with interest in Kone. So don't be shocked if this drags on a little before it's fully signed, sealed and announced. But the direction of travel is clear. United want a defensive midfielder, Kone is the #1 target, and there's genuine belief inside the building that this gets done. Now here's the story that's going to properly wind up the cop. Manchester United have been offered the chance to sign Bradley Barcola and beat Liverpool to his signature. Let that sink in for a second. Liverpool have been working on this one quietly for months as their Salah replacement, and PSG have essentially thrown the door open to everyone. According to RMC Sport, PSG have openly invited Manchester United to bid for Barcola, while also offering the same opportunity to Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester City, Bayern Munich and Barcelona. So this isn't United sneaking in through a side door. PSG have effectively put him up for auction to half of Europe's elite. Why now? Barcola has reportedly expressed concerns to Luis Enrique about his dwindling minutes, having slipped behind Ousmane Dembele, Khvicha Kvaratskhelia and Desire Doué in the pecking order. A player of his quality, stuck fourth choice, of course he's looking for an escape route. On the numbers, bidding is expected to start at around £59.5 million, though other reports suggest PSG's real valuation is far higher, some pointing towards the £120 million mark once Liverpool's opening interest is factored in. Speaking of Liverpool, they've already opened club-to-club talks and reportedly lodged an opening bid, so United would genuinely be gatecrashing an advanced conversation, not starting from scratch. Now, is this realistic for United? Let's be sensible about it. United have actually been shifting their transfer strategy this summer toward lower cost, less established talent after being priced out of some domestic targets, so splashing over £100 million on a PSG forward would be a genuine change of approach. But when a club like PSG personally puts your name on the list, you don't just say, no. Expect this to run for weeks, and expect Liverpool fans to be nervously refreshing Twitter every time Romano posts. And finally, maybe the most exciting name of the three for actual footballing quality, Nico Williams. Manchester United are preparing to make a move for Nico Williams as INEOS look to complete their forward line with the athletic club winger, according to reports from Spain. And now, according to the same reporting, Chelsea are also in the hunt, with Williams fitting the recruitment model Bluco have installed since taking charge at Stamford Bridge. Here's why this one has legs. Barcelona's refusal to sign Marcus Rashford permanently has opened up the door for United to escalate their long-standing interest in Williams. They've actually been linked with him as far back as 2023. United are hunting a new left winger, and this is the big one, they're reportedly willing to sacrifice Rashford himself to help fund the move. Now, there is competition inside that same shortlist. West Ham's Crysencio Somerville is understood to be the leading target for United's winger spot, with Roma also considered frontrunners for him. so Williams might be more of a dream alternative than the #1 priority right now. But El Nacional's report says United want a more aggressive offensive identity, with wingers capable of winning duels and changing games without depending purely on the system. And if that doesn't describe Nico Williams, I don't know what does. On valuation, reports over recent months have varied wildly, from an £80 million release clause figure up to nearly £90 million if a release clause isn't triggered. Whatever the exact number, this is not a cut price deal, but for a player of Williams' ceiling, that's the going rate in this market. So there you have it, a £45 million deal reportedly agreed for Manu Kone. PSG personally opening the door for United to hijack Liverpool's move for Bradley Barcola, and now Chelsea joining United in the race for Nico Williams. 3 completely different stories, 3 completely different levels of likelihood, but all pointing the same direction. This United rebuild isn't slowing down. Which of these 3 would you actually want at Old Trafford? Drop it in the comments. Kone, Barcola, or Williams? Smash that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you in the next one. TraffordWire, out. And now they're targeting Kone at a price roughly in that same 50 million range. That's a midfield rebuild built on value, not vanity spending. And United still have plenty of budget left after those 2 deals to make a genuine move for Kone. Here's the part that should give United fans real hope. This isn't a cold approach out of nowhere. United's recruitment setup, led by Jason Wilcox, with new CEO Omar Barada also playing a role, is said to have an excellent existing relationship with Kone's representatives. That relationship is being described as United's genuine advantage in this race, because it's not just about who can pay the fee, it's about who the player and his camp actually want to negotiate with. Roma, for their part, haven't received a formal approach yet. This is still very much in the exploratory phase, but the fact United have already made direct calls to the player's side, rather than going through intermediaries or press leaks, tells you how seriously they're treating this deal. United are reportedly taking a bit of time here rather than rushing in blind. After the whirlwind pace of the Santos and Tielemans deals, the club is said to be carefully weighing Kone against other defensive midfield options on their list before committing to who they push hardest for. The competition. Why United can't afford to sleep on this. Now here's the twist I promised you at the start. United are not the only club aware of Kone's situation. Reports have suggested a Premier League rival is positioned to try and hijack this deal if United hesitate too long. In a market where Roma are open to a sale under the right financial pressure, and where Kone's stock has never been higher after his World Cup performances, this is exactly the kind of situation where a rival club with cash to spend could swoop in and disrupt everything. That's why the next couple of weeks matter so much. United have the relationship advantage. They have the budget. They have a clearly defined need. But advantage on paper only counts for something if it turns into an actual bid before somebody else moves. Let's zoom out for a second, because this Kone pursuit doesn't exist in isolation. It's part of a much bigger midfield reset happening at Old Trafford this summer. Santos brings energy, aggression, and long-term potential as a genuine Casemiro successor for both club and country. Tielemans brings